In the year 1347, Europe was dragged into one of the darkest chapters in human history, the Black Death. A nightmare that arrived silently on the backs of rats and fleas, and within a few years wiped out an estimated 50 million people, nearly 60% of Europe's population. Cities collapsed, bodies piled up in carts, priests abandoned churches, and families locked their doors as the stench of death poisoned the wind. But out of this chaos, a strange legend emerged, one that defied logic and captivated history for centuries: the story of the Four Thieves vinegar. A mysterious blend of herbs, spices, and vinegar, allegedly used by a gang of thieves who robbed the dead and dying without ever falling sick themselves. This strange concoction, still debated today, may have been one of the earliest known examples of natural antimicrobial survival strategies, and what's more chilling is how it was discovered. As the plague swept through Marseille in the 17th century during a later wave of infection, authorities caught 4 grave robbers who had been seen rummaging through plague victims' homes, touching infected bodies, stealing jewelry, and walking out completely unharmed. They were brought before a judge, expected to be executed on the spot, but they made a deal. They would reveal the secret to their immunity in exchange for mercy, and that's when the world first heard of the Four Thieves vinegar, a mix said to contain ingredients like garlic, lavender, rosemary, sage, mint, thyme, and wormwood, all steeped in strong vinegar and applied to the hands, face, and mouth before exposure to infected areas. The exact recipe varied depending on the region, but the core idea remained. These potent herbs, many now proven to contain natural antibacterial and antiviral properties, created a kind of protective barrier that either masked the stench, miasma theory at the time believed bad air caused disease, or genuinely reduced microbial threats. Garlic, for instance, contains a lichen, a compound shown in modern studies to combat bacteria like E. coli and Staphylococcus, while vinegar itself, especially apple cider vinegar, has acetic acid which is hostile to pathogens. Whether these ingredients truly saved the thieves or whether they were just incredibly lucky is still debated. But the fact remains, the story spread like wildfire across Europe, and soon everyone from nobles to peasants was creating their own version of the thieves' potion, dousing themselves in pungent vinegars in a desperate attempt to survive what felt like the end of the world. And even more fascinating is how this remedy never disappeared. It evolved, passed down through generations as folk medicine, and today you can still find bottles of Four Thieves Oil or vinegar of the Four Thieves in herbal stores, and survivalist kits marketed as immune boosters or natural sanitizers. But perhaps the most terrifying realization isn't whether it worked or not. It's the idea that in a time when doctors bled patients and carried pomanders of perfume, a group of criminals with stolen herbs may have accidentally stumbled on something more effective than all of medieval medicine combined. And even in modern labs, scientists have tested some of these ingredients and found them capable of reducing bacterial growth, reinforcing that our ancestors, desperate, unscientific, and often superstitious, may have had more survival wisdom in their kitchens than we give them credit for. And think about this. In a world without vaccines, antibiotics, or germ theory, your best chance of survival came from garlic, vinegar, and blind hope. And in the face of biological annihilation, the real miracle wasn't just that a few thieves survived, but that the knowledge of their strange potion echoed through centuries, resurfacing every time humanity faces invisible threats. During the 1918 Spanish flu, herbalists recommended versions of the same formula. And during COVID-19, demand for Thieves Oil skyrocketed again, with modern apothecaries and essential oil sellers recreating the mix in spray bottles and diffusers. This isn't just folk medicine. It's historical memory encoded in plants and passed through fear. Whether it was the acidic pH killing pathogens or the overpowering scent keeping people away from infected crowds, the formula had some logic. Rosemary is antimicrobial, sage reduces inflammation, and mint contains menthol, which can open airways. Each component might have played a small role, but combined, they created a symbolic shield against death. And if you ever find yourself wondering how people survived before antibiotics, the answer isn't always scientific. It's sometimes a matter of desperation, intuition, and survival instincts. So the next time you see a bottle labeled Four Thieves, remember, this wasn't made for luxury. It was brewed by criminals in a plague-ridden city, surrounded by death, with nothing but herbal scraps and vinegar, hoping to live one more day. And against all odds they did, and their strange recipe still whispers through history like a ghost from a time when death walked the streets and survival was a recipe scribbled on crumbling parchment. So ask yourself, in a real crisis, would you trust science, superstition, or the secrets of the thieves who never died?